But today, what I want to talk with you guys about is a proposition, a way of thinking, saying, what if you could use your money as a viable path to career freedom? And I'm not talking, no, I'm not going to give you ways to win the lottery. That is not what we're talking about, right? This is about how do you use the money that you have to actually help you, to actually help you choose a different life, choose a better life. Okay, and if you can go to the next slide, Frankie, let's see. All right, so you just heard that I'm a storyteller, and of course, I'm an insights guy. So you have to have a graph in an insights presentation. It's Bible rule number one, right? This
Did we lose his audio?
Yeah, Darius, we lost your audio.
You're back? Hold on, we still can't hear you.
Okay, how's that?
That's better.
All right,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah,
all right,
all good.
Yep. So this slide is just literally kind of my last last 12 years or whatnot. It's looking at it and you just say, okay, so beginning in 2011, I took this class. My wife and I took this class. It's called the Financial Peace University. And so this graph just shows you a debt to income in our family. For obvious reasons, it does not have what the actual dollars are. Only the IRS gets it. My wife and the IRS and my bank get to know what those numbers are. And it is not to scale, FYI. But key things to note is that somewhere in 2011, my wife and I, we took Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey, and he got us on a path to that course, put us on a path to becoming debt-free. One of the things you'll notice is that it was kind of crazy because even with a dual Procter and Gamble family, some kind of way we had more debt leaving our house every month that we had income. And we thought, this is absolutely bonkers. And so we started working on that. Now, by the grace of God, it just so happened that somewhere around in 2014, so in June of 2014, I got laid off. But at that point, when I got laid off, in case you hadn't noticed, we literally at that point only had we had a house note and a car note. We had a $350 car note for a 2013 Toyota Sienna that's still down in my garage right now. It was literally the only debt that we had at that point in time. And so that actually set us up to where we could actually do a lot of different things that we were not expecting. So those arrows there actually show you all of the different times that over a 7-year period, I lost my job. I've been through 3 layoffs. I've been through three layoffs, and once where it was just a toxic environment, and I decided to leave. But one of the things you will notice here is that debt never actually rose. We've always been debt-free. We've been debt-free almost through that entire time. And that allowed us to actually manage a couple of different things. So Frankie, if you will go to the next slide, please. Having that power actually impacted us in three material ways. The first one is financially. Both of my sons were in private school. They were able to stay in private school. My youngest son is on the spectrum, and so he had to be at a very specific school. And so we were able to actually keep him in that school. My oldest was, he's a playwright, and he was at the private school that was great for him. So we were able to actually leave him there. And then that school got him into Columbia University, and we were able to actually, believe it or not, that's a grace of God moment. We were able to actually get him through Columbia University. Nobody actually has a loan. And so we did that. That's on the financial side. On the relationship side, the best time of my life has not been when I was working. It was when I was unemployed. Because I literally did the job of what moms typically do in our society. Shout out to moms, because hardest job known to man, for goodness sakes. I don't understand how, but it was a blessing for me, because I was there when my oldest son was going through high school, and when my youngest son was trying to figure himself out. And through that time frame, my oldest today, both of my sons would actually say that I'm one of their best friends. And it was because of the time that I got to spend with them and the relationship that we built, because I wasn't working. And shout out to Dr. Helen, my wife, coming up on 30 years. Guess what? If you don't have to go to work in the morning, you can spend a lot of time and energy thinking about your boo. And building up that relationship. So we have a healthy relationship. So that's benefit number 2. The last thing here is that I got to make choices, people. I literally, one of the things that I did when I was unemployed was I took on the role as the president and CEO of a not-for-profit arts organization. And I did that for almost 3 years. I could not have done that if I had no debt. Wouldn't even have been a conversation. The second thing is I left, I left the toxic organization on my own terms. There are a few of us out there that are sitting in places that they have no desire to be in, but can't make that choice because it would have too much of an impact on their home, on their families, and on their finances. And the last thing is I am really thankful because I was able to hold out for this opportunity. Like Kai and others will know that I said, I'm in my dream job. I've achieved a vision of what I set out many years ago, which was to be in the C-suite, and a leader of a firm. And because I didn't have any debt, I was able to hold out until I came to MRxPros one Tuesday afternoon, and I met Carrie, my boss. And a few months later, I'm here as a vice president of client strategy at Research Narrative. Oh, and there's my boss in the chat. Woohoo! Okay, so now last slide. So if you go to the next slide, please. While this is about money, I hope one of the things I hope that you kind of took away is that this is about a holistic approach to wealth building. I ain't rich, people, but I am wealthy, because on both sides I feel balanced on both sides of the equation. Financial peace. Look, Colson and I were talking about this. While Dave Ramsey we may not agree on certain topics, we do agree. Nice one, Sequoia. We may not agree on topics, however, I wholeheartedly agree with them on the financial piece. Best $80 I ever spent. Now, if you don't do that, folks, please, my God, get a budget. So get a budget. Fun fact, less than a third of US households actually have a budget, that they actually have a budget. My wife and I, we've had a budget now consistently since 2011. It's a conversation we sit down and we do our monthly budget, and we have a weekly conversation where we balance the budgets and we figure it out. We know exactly where every dollar goes. And the nice part is when you don't have any debt, you can tell your money where you want it to go, and eliminate that debt. On the other side of the equation, having no debt does not, my faith is a core tenet and a core part of who I am. And I gotta say, there were some times when the bills were so high. I just told y'all that I put a kid through Columbia University on one salary. There were some times where only the grace of God actually helped that one, where money just magicked itself. But also, I had better balance in my life and in general. I've got my wife, I've got my sons, and I met an amazing set of people who were super kind, over this, who were super kind to me over this journey. And I got to really get to figure out through this journey that there are a lot of people out there that are actually really good human beings. So that's it for me, guys. So that's literally it for me. I guess, do you have questions? I want to leave you. So one of the things I want to set up for you in terms of the question is, you've heard me talk about my life and how my life changed because I had no financial liabilities. How would your life change if you had zero debt? You can choose where every dollar went, whatever you felt like doing. How would your life change?